It's the end of the day and I only have a moment to set this up, but it's Teacher Tip Tuesday. Part of what I'm doing here is recycling old videos, taking bits that I thought were really good out of videos, the 300 some videos that I've made in the last few years, taking portions of that and putting it on this channel. So it's not always brand new stuff, but it's like leftovers. Actually, I don't really like leftovers, but. So in this clip, I want to give you some ideas of what is it like when you start teaching? Maybe you just started student teaching, or you're a substitute teacher, or you start at mid-year, or it's like you're just going on spring break or coming back from spring break. And what happens when it feels like the year has kicked your ass? How do you bounce back from that? How do you learn from that? So in this clip, I'm gonna talk about that. And if you wouldn't mind, in the comment section below, how do you deal with some of these things? How do you deal with feeling like the world is kicking you in the teeth when you're just trying to do your best? One of the things they don't tell you about teaching when you're in college is that it is incredibly taxing, right? Especially if you want to have a really great class. So it takes a lot of upkeep on yourself to be able to do that. And so I remember like my first year teaching, I wanted my room to be like the greatest room ever. And so when we read Romeo and Juliet, I created this room where we essentially made the set for Romeo and Juliet out of bulletin board paper and old boxes from Home Depot. Kids acted it out in class as we did it, and it was extraordinary. I would show up at school at 6 in the morning, I wouldn't leave till 6 or 7 at night, and it didn't bother me at all. My health quickly declined after that, because there was no self-care. I was in my room from 6 in the morning till 6 or 7 at night, and that was it. I just kept going and going and going. And so as I've gotten older, I realized there is a level of self-care that you have to maintain to be able to keep going at a consistent rate, right? Like you just can't burn the candle at both ends and think that you're gonna be able to do that for 30 years, because you're not. That makes me wonder if that's why some teachers like kind of crap out at some point and they stop being able to give so much to their class. You know, there's certain things that I do that when I'm on point and I'm doing them, my day just goes better. When I'm my best self, that looks like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I meditate and pray for about 10 to 15 minutes. Then I run. I eat lunch with the students every day, but the kids even know that for 15 minutes of that, so I watch fellow teacher vlogs during that time and eat my lunch. And they all know that it's Mr. Reynolds' quiet time. And sometimes I have to make a big sign so that everyone knows that. And sometimes I'll put a Post-it on my forehead to make sure that they know that. You know, you're always talking to students. You're always solving problems and helping someone and trying to create a better lesson plan and prepping for lessons later in the week. And that's the great part. Like the part that when you're that first year teacher, don't stop doing that stuff because it feels so taxing. You just have to figure out a way to balance some of that stuff. How are you going to be able to be the craziest, greatest, and most amazing, transformative teacher that anyone's ever seen and not be dead to the world as soon as you walk in your house at night? It's really important that you learn a lot of those things on the front end to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and that you're loving yourself, because that's the only way that you can actually love the kids more, is if you really take care of yourself first. Don't forget, everyone, if you have questions or that are a little bit more personal than you'd like to put in the comment section, feel free to go to Real Rap with Reynolds Teacher Talk. It's a closed Facebook group. It's only for educators and people aspiring to be in education. We vet everyone that's going in there, which we do a pretty good job of, I think. But you can leave your question in there and you'll get really thoughtful, kind answers from other people that are in the education space as well. And that's it, everybody. Peace.